The Backyard Gardening Project, Episode 16, Dinner. Brought to you by The Garden Father and Don's Garden Shop. Located on East Platte Avenue in Colorado Springs. In the spring of this year, this is what this small plot of land looked like where Mike, Colleen, and Troy have built their garden. Now we've worked with them through the season, and they've done a marvelous job taking care of the project, and I can't believe the harvest that they've gotten. So let's take a look at a few pictures of what's come out of their garden so far. Well, hi there, Colleen and Mike.
Hi.
Back from your vacation, huh?
Yes.
So I know that you had someone take care of your garden for about a week when you left, but I'm telling you, it looks pretty darn good. So today is July 26th, and let's take a look, because there's some things to do here, and this is great. Okay. If you had done it all, I wouldn't have anything to talk about. Okay, so let's take a look inside here at your broccoli. All right, so you can see that, and everybody, go ahead and point out the flowers there. Yeah. See, if you don't harvest those shoots, they will go to flower. Now, we're going to talk about that later in the season, what you do, but down below you can see that there are some nice little broccoli sprouts that should be picked, and if you don't pick them, they will go to flower just like that. So, you know, so no worries. You know, after I leave today, you guys cut those off so that you can start getting some more edible broccoli. And of course, if some of them aren't too far gone, you can eat them too. There's nothing wrong with eating them like that. You know, yeah, you bet. Some of that. All right.
Okay.
Sounds
good. All right, and I notice you can see some of the little holes on the leaves there, and that's probably from that cabbage worm, from the cabbage butterfly, that white cabbage butterfly. And Mike has some dipple dust. Some people pronounce it dipel, D-I-P-E-L. It has that bacteria in it, BT, Bacillus thuringiensis, and the caterpillars eat it and they don't do too well. So he needs to dust it again with that, and every time after it rains.
Okay.
So now let's take a look in front here. You guys have some carrots coming up through the canvas, or I'm sorry, the burlap. Go ahead and remove that. So you can just gently remove that because it's time. And those carrots, you know, he didn't get a great germination there, but there's some things that came up. And there is carrots. Now what he can do is, as those carrots get a little bigger in about 2 weeks, just go ahead and in between the carrots where there's some spaces, just poke in a little seed or two, and they'll just do just fine.
Okay.
They were delicious, by the way.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah,
those are those Mokum carrots. All right, now you can see their onions are starting to fall over. Now that's a natural process. When they're done growing, they're just going to fall over like that, and then it's basically time to think about harvesting them.
Okay.
Now,
So
they didn't get really big bulbs this time, and we'll try to figure that out later, but you know, you're going to see some bulbs that are forming on these guys, but if they're planted too deep, they won't form a big bulb, and these look a little deeper than they should be, and that could be my fault as well. But anyway, those are some of their leaves, and that's candy onions, by the way.
Okay.
Now let's take a look at that cabbage. Now if you guys remember, we cut off the cabbage, Mike did. It just left some stem right there, and then he put an X on the top of the stem, and in this a little trick, it is growing 4 new heads. So it'll be interesting to see how that does. So now your onions over there are faring far better as far as forming bulbs.
Yes.
And you know, you can harvest onions at any time and eat them, but the best time to harvest them, if you're going to store them inside, is to wait till the tops fall over naturally like that, and then you'll take them and put them in a dry, warm place to just cure. And then you'll trim them up, take the leaves off about 1 inch from the bulb, and trim a little the root, and then you can just store them inside. So those look pretty good.
Okay.
And I can see that your Sugar Daddy snap peas are done for the season. You know, there may be one or two back in there hiding. So good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is their tomato tunnel. Now I want them to show off their big beef tomatoes. So if you can pull some of the leaves back a little bit so we can see those tomatoes. Oh my gosh, those are just outstanding. Now I know you harvested one the other day, so tonight's the night you're going to try it, right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, now you're going to have to tell me what you think if you haven't eaten big beef before. Now let's take a look, because this is common with some of these lettuces. They're growing a lot of iceberg lettuce, and this one is Sun Devil, which particularly is a hybrid that is supposed to tolerate some heat, but there's been a lot of heat and a cool, I mean, it's crazy. So what happens sometimes, and let's show this, is they can actually just rot. You know, they just, and that one right there is rotten. Yeah. And it needs to be picked and gotten rid of.
Okay.
But you know, they shouldn't feel bad, because look at all these other ones. You know, and when the heads start to feel a little bit tight, go ahead, squeeze that one, Colleen, like you did. That one's ready to go. That one's ready to harvest there. That one's
ready.
All right, now you guys are going to have to show me your peppers. I don't know, what are you feeding these things? Jeez.
These first of all, the jalapenos are amazing. We've picked about 8 so far. They're dynamite. Very spicy, but very flavorful, and they're going crazy. The ones we picked were very big. Next are our Pueblo green chilies, are right here, and we've picked about 3 so far. They're delicious. They're kind of buried in there. This one's starting to turn color. That's a good one. If you can see that size right there, he's coming in really well. These are the flavor bursts. We have picked one and ate one so far. Right? They were
you can see it in there. Here, growing back in there. See it. And it'll turn colors. It'll get a little orange as it goes through. And then back there you've got a California bell pepper, that California wonder.
And we picked one of those so far, and it also very delicious.
Yeah, and you have some basil.
And the basil, of course.
Growing here, and use that. Yep. All right, well these look incredible. I know those jalapenos, you said they're really hot. I can't tell you why. It's just the run-of-the-mill jalapeno. I guess we'll... if you like heat, I guess that's a good thing, right?
It's been wonderful.
Yeah. All right. These are their beans, and that was their bean tower that Mike, maybe Colleen, helped string them up. But you can see that these beans, these are pole beans, they look a little stunted. But apparently whatever is happening to them hasn't stopped the production. So let's take a look at some of the beans, and they wanted to discuss when's the best time to pick these. They're called, given 3 names, Early Riser, Quintus, or Northeastern. So each one of them are the same bean as far as we know.
Yeah, here's one right. There's some. I saw some more.
Yeah, let's see what you've got so far. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Look at those guys.
And we picked a ton.
So how did you like the taste of those?
We haven't had them yet.
Yeah.
You haven't had them yet?
I was to say, have we eaten them? No,
oh my
not
gosh.
Yet.
Yeah, we have them already to go. That'll be...
All right, now I just live down the street, and I think I'm going to hear a big Yahoo! These are terrific pretty soon tonight after they start cooking.
Yes, you will.
Most definitely.
We love these beans, and I hope that they do as well.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
This is their cucumber bed, and these are the 3 names. You're going to find Cool Breeze or Quarantine. Now, Quarantine is a variety that has been replacing Cool Breeze lately, but it grows the same habit, and these are Quarantine. And you've had some of these. Now, how have you guys liked the taste of these?
They are amazing.
Oh my gosh, so good. We're going through them as fast as we could pick them.
Yeah.
They are so good.
You've got one there ready to pick?
Yeah, there's one right here.
So we were
Okay.
going to ask you, can you explain when you know it's ready to pick?
When you're hungry.
I like that.
Like this guy here.
Yeah, just get twisted. Yeah, that guy went probably a little longer than he needs to. That's a little bigger than they should be. Let's take a look at that. Okay. You see, that one is just a little bigger than these probably should be picked.
Okay.
When they turn white on the end?
That means they're a little older, because these get to be picked early. And I see you've got a bunch there growing up the vine.
Yes.
Still.
I'd wait another day on that one.
Okay. Wait another day.
Yeah, and it'll only take about that long.
Oh wow.
So.
All right, we have a bunch more.
This one was hiding.
So this guy should be ready then. He is ready, by far ready. It's kind of the same situation.
Oh, you guys have done a great job. Yeah.
Thank you.
How do you like them? How have you had them?
We've just had them plain, just sliced up
And
and
salads.
in salads, like chips.
Yes.
I've been eating them pretty much like they replace chips
Oh, good.
because they're so crispy and tasty. And I had my niece over yesterday who does not like cucumbers, and she loved it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a testimonial for you.
Right? Yeah.
Now, I gave these guys a small plant of rustic arugula. Now, this one is actually a perennial arugula, and you guys can pick the leaves and it'll grow back. You know, just pick a bunch of them, put them in salads, and notice the flowers that are on the top. Now, I want you guys to pick one of those flower buds near the top. Don't get too much of the stem, and just munch on it a little bit and tell me what you think.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's good.
Yeah.
I've never had that.
No.
Yeah, so you can add that to salads or dishes. And again, this does really well cooked, but usually you don't add it to the very end of a cooked dish because so it doesn't wilt down and disappear into the dish. So add it near the very end of your cooking, and you'll find uses for it. But I like the leaves because they're a little sweet, and then they finish off with a little peppery note.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
What do we do with these? Just let them
No,
go?
just let them go because they're going to seed, and then next year you'll be selling arugula on the corner.
Perfect.
So, all right, guys. All right, early in the season, Mike and Colleen, I gave them some rhubarb, start some spurs, and you know, they didn't do well here, not knowing exactly why. We think it was just that the water wasn't getting down deep enough, but you can tell that they've rewatered, redone this thing, and here you can see it's just starting to push back up another stem, so I think it's going to be doing just fine. Next year they'll be making pies and muffins. Here is Mike and Colleen's pumpkin patch. Now, how many pumpkin plants do you have growing from that section?
5.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Plants? 2 plants.
Two plants. Oh yeah.
Oh, 2 plants. Oh, just 2
counted
plants. Yeah,
Pumpkins.
I thought I did counseled you on not growing too many in this space, because that's 2 plants and you can see it's growing all over everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a small pie pumpkin. So let's take a look and see what is going on here.
We call this one Craig after
this
my
is-
brother-in-law.
this
He's
is
the
Okay.
biggest one.
Oh, after your brother-in-law.
There he is.
I guess it's good to be named after a pumpkin, huh? Now, what you can do, it's kind of fun. If you want to, you can just take a, you know, like a little knife and just carve in somebody's initials into that. Not too deep, just about a 1/4 of an inch in. You could put Troy's name on it or something. And then as it grows and matures, it'll expand out. And when you harvest it, it'll have his name on it.
Oh, that's
that's
neat.
cool.
Yeah, it is really cool, and it doesn't hurt the pumpkin at all. Just don't dig too deep. Just take off the rind, and you'll be doing. So this looks really good, guys. Now remember that pumpkins, they have 2 flowers, a male flower and a female flower. Some of these flowers, you know, are going to be used, the male for the pollen to pollinate the female blossoms, and we're going to be talking about this as the season goes on, so they can have some ripe pumpkins and how you properly trim those. But right now they look good. Now, do you guys have any fertilizer left over?
We do not.
Okay, so what I recommend is, you know, this week or something, get up to Lowe's or someplace and buy just a bag of that Espoma Garden Tone.
Okay.
It's in the garden section. It comes in a little bag for about 11, 12 bucks. And then read the instructions, but you'll put, you know, maybe a 1/3 of a cup around the plants and work them in, not too close to the stem, and because these are going to need a little extra fertilizer as they push through. And you can do the same thing with your tomatoes and your peppers. Just scratch a little bit around like you were dusting sugar cookies, and then just work it into the soil, and that should be good for the next 3 to 4 weeks, okay?
Wonderful.
Well, listen, guys, you're doing a great job.
Thank
So all I can say is happy gardening.
Happy gardening.